Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dear colleagues. My name is Yuri Kirilenko. I work as researcher in State Scientific and Technical Center for Nuclear and Radiation Safety. I'm also a member of Emergency Center of Ukrainian regulatory body. Today, I would like to stress the issue of atmospheric dispersion modeling and dose projection under uncertainties associated with wartime. So, a few words about my institution. Our center is a technical support organization of the State Nuclear Regulatory Inspectorate of Ukraine. Our main tasks include comprehensive technical and scientific support of the regulator in nuclear and radiation safety at all stages of nuclear facilities life. In the context of emergency preparedness and response, our organization is involved in the activities of the emergency center. Our experts participate in the development of regulatory framework, emergency planning, and monitoring activities. According to Ukrainian legislation, under the set of international conventions, the regulatory body of Ukraine is responsible for prompt notification about nuclear and radiological emergencies on the territory of Ukraine and beyond its boundaries in case of transboundary release. So SSTC NRS is the supportive organization for Ukrainian regulator. It means in emergency phase, our experts can be involved in response activity, providing calculation support to regulatory body. Let's have a look how philosophy of emergency preparedness and response is deformed in part of assessments. In peaceful time, the preparedness phase and the response phase are clearly separated by announcement of the event class. In wartime, there is no criteria for the transmission. For example, we found out about shelling of Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and we start to respond, but severe accident does not occur. And the situation gives up the opportunity and time to apply approach that are more typical for the preparedness phase. There are using statistical assessments, preparation of additional source zones, application more precise assessment tools, and finally discussing our needs with the international community before the actual event happens. So since the full-scale invasion of Russian Federation on the territory of Ukraine, our experts provides analysis of potential accident may be occurred at Ukrainian facilities. The main task of radiological assessor in case of emergency is real-time assessment on recommended protective actions for the territory controlled by Ukrainian government, as well as for the territory temporarily occupied by Russian Federation. Obviously, in international practice, there has been no analysis of threats by the factor of military attack, impact of physical or psychological pressure on personnel, critical elements of destruction, impact of caliber and power of weapons, etc. Therefore, the list of reference events for the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant was based on previously studied scenarios, experts' opinion, and assumptions. This slide provides an example of only some of the scenarios. You can see 3 options for tail station blackout and 1 scenario for mechanical destruction of spent fuel cask at dry spent fuel storage at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant site. Since March 22, our emergency center has been activated several times. During the activation, calculations for Zaporizhzhia plant were provided in a regular basis. Using the air mass trajectory model, we can continuously monitor the nature of potential release spreading. And using European Decision Support System JRODOS, and other modeling tools for hypothetical event, we define the areas could be affected by evacuation, sheltering, iodine prophylaxis, and restriction on staying outdoors. This slide shows the results of modeling a hypothetical multi-unit event at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant unit 5 and 6 in October 22. The presented fields are the dose rate at the scale of the observation area. The results are provided just for demonstration. Okay. Over the past year, based on 1 year meteorological data, a number of statistical calculations were provided for the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to define the distances and areas to apply protective actions. The assessments were performed for 3 reference systems as for July 22. Briefly speaking, we just run the model with 3 independent events at random time of during the day. As an example, this slide shows a probability map of the recommendation of UDAM prophylaxis for children in case of a total station blackout of the operating Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant unit as of July 22. And finally, I would like to list the challenges of assessment during wartime and some possible ways to success. Of course, one of the first tasks is very important. In very short time, you need to find a safe working place. You can face a breakdown of information chains and communications with some experts of the emergency center. Unavailability of the tools needed for the calculations in shelters. By the way, in the first time of innovation, some of our experts used just mobile and paper materials. Problems with electricity and internet connections, unreliability of data transmitted from capture facility. So how can we improve our response under wartime? We can organize a safe working place for the experts equipped with necessary tools, develop a secured visual platform for communication of the experts, create a library of the reference system for the expected range of threats for all possible facility conditions, use a secured server or cloud to transfer large files. A maximum diversification and independence of data transmission channels can also help here. We can use a mail messenger widget to save some information. And of course, regular training and exercise on calculation procedures in various conditions also can help here. To sum up, during the wartime, group of reference events can be considered based on expert view, current situation, and possible character of impact. Preparedness to an emergency resulting from the military attacks requires more information about the potential military threats and facility response to a spectrum of hostilities. It's possible to come up with mechanism for prompt recalculation of emergency planning zones and provide additional resources to mitigate the radiological consequences, considering the current situation and public behavior under war conditions. Development of a secured virtual platform for communication of the emergency center experts can be the optimal solution to support emergency preparedness and response system under wartime. Thank you for your attention.